So the second.
Is that me?
No, that's probably me. He said to mute it and it would work.
I think it's a Halloween. Can I get my earplugs?
Go ahead and go. I'm going to make sure he can fix that.
Welcome, everybody.
Was that me?
To the Mojave County Building Code Advisory Board meeting for October 17th.
Chairman Richard Hamilton.
Here.
Vice Chairman Profit. Board Member McKee. Board Member Azarmi.
I'm here.
Board Member Renner. Board Member Rouge. Board Member Walker. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. I need to deviate from the agenda for a second, if I may. You wanted to introduce somebody?
Board members, I'd like to introduce our new clerk, Chris Holmberg. Stole her blood department. So Mindy, board is right first. And board teams that we have. Welcome on board.
Welcome. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the
So moved.
The approval of the minutes for 07/12/2023 meeting minutes have been moved and seconded. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass. First item. What do we have for feedback? Okay, thank you. The first item on the agenda is discussion and possible action regarding the appeal of BC-2023-00012, unpermitted structure violation. Family, do you have?
Chairman Hamilton, board members, this item agenda 1 is for an appeal that was stated to an unpermitted structure violation. During the packet, get packed together, we did find out appeal at the time started case violation by their legal owners property. Did it by trust by staff rec.
We need to put on that, or
Thank you, Ms. I believe since it's itemized on the agenda, we would either continue it, vote on postponing this until we contact the additional owners, or just canceling it altogether, and then the new owners be required to appeal if they disagree, chief building.
Chairman, I make a motion for item 1 cancel.
Second that motion.
been moved and seconded that the item number 1 be canceled. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Second item on the agenda is discussion and possible action regarding special inspections for Simpson Strong Wall. Mr. Smedley, do you have something with that?
Chairman Hamilton, board members, recall in our July 12th meeting, voted Lincoln Advisory Board did present information regarding spec strong walls. At that, board member talked about it. Different analogy could be. So actually continued this meeting based on conflict further. Did talk with engineered plain twist product visions and resist code special effects section. In your packet provided code reference section 751 is actually a special effect. What they pointed out, different wind exposures in the code, exempt special effect exposure categories, open terrain, kind of urban type category. They limited 100 per hour. Wind loading is less than that. The wind category type. Their code exempt. So true, they steered us to that. Structural wood design, cold form light frame structure. So a lot of the Strongwell product based also in your packet. Information, quick reference does reference our wind speed design criteria per hour related. So basically, it's the main wind force system. On reviewing the code, my interpretation, Mojave low wind exposure, not exceeding those would allow the facility to not project requirement. I wanted to point out also that during there are other items fall under the category. One would expansion ink, the require special effect. Those loadings tighten. Here's one fall out with this category in the my proposal, staff recommendation, take no action, prepared policy random packet. That building division policy clarify special effect requirements, building code, that policy, pack product, strong walls, station expansion, heighten similar project, require special effects, stated for project specification, not be required, third-party special, section 7511, require spec, load closure categories. Bobby County has established
I have reviewed the report and also the item that happened for us, and I believe that staff and the Gilbert did wonderful, ratified a lot of issues and headaches created on the field. But they still have a comment and also a request, from the uh, uh, Director Walsh and also the building official Gilbert Zambia. Uh, First of all, my recommendation is that, because of the item that, we had, was first experienced in the field, then it came before us here, then it was going to the item and all. My recommendation is any item that is going to be implemented in the field, if possible, we can, maybe review it here so we have a chance to have a debate on it, then if possible. I know that, in the field, the inspectors, they basically have to follow their instructions, and that creates a little bit of a hardship. So that's my recommendation to basically chief building official to, if possible, the item would be reviewed, and discussed, then go to the field for execution on item. And again, the other item on the special inspection is like on the anchor bolts that they have to retrofit epoxy. That's being done very typical, and it's not that often that happens. I know that, we had one case recently that was taken care of, but it caused about 3 days delay on a job. So I was wondering if you would consider that as part of, that there would be no requirement of special inspection. Again, special inspection process is very difficult because we don't have that resources available to us, and it takes time for going through the process and finding the person. But beside the cost, and that's a comment. But with that, I'm ready to go forward. Good, back to you.
Chairman Hamilton. Tommy, what we're seeing in the industry, a lot of, let's say, liability. Companies now are putting out more acquiring. I think this sector, not wind loading our areas limited, higher require.
I can say that happened with one of our sectors. By the time that it gets you coming back to the field, created a 3 days delay the project and all that. So I appreciate, if you could implement that fact. I appreciate.
Chairman? Just a matter of comment, it's just maybe appreciated your work on this and the recommendation also, the testament to the building department. Working on behalf of the community, it's great. Appreciated more than you know. First, thank
Yeah, Mr. Snavely, I think that this comes out almost plus by throwing the wind load there. I realize the recommendation.
I'll make a motion for a staff report.
I will second.
We have a motion for staff take no action matter implement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Did we hear Mr. Walker in there at all? I want to try to get through this. We have a board member that we may lose quickly to have to go to the doctor. So I want to lose our quorum. The next item on the agenda is item number 3. Discuss and possible action regarding amendment to Mojave County Ordinance 2021-03 regarding clarification and procedures for notification, appeals, liens of unsafe structures and establish fee schedule for abatement contained in items 3 and 4 from the 07/12/2023 meeting.
Chairman Hamilton, board members, this is a proposed amendment to clarify enforcement notification appeal process, out specific process. Those that's get cost per code. Other minor revisions in this amendment, conformity regarding violation. Go through this quickly. We've actually amended or amendment, it will place ordinance. If section 7, which text, look, you'll 4 proposals. Item subsection I, basically find our notice of violation. Subsection J is identifying the violation, hiding notice for the violation. Section K is cost. Notice. Section L, requiring state preservation office. Build these. So details out the assessor upon the abatement to evaluate the problem. Subsection M outlines actual cost, the actual effect cost for the assessment, form rate assessment, so establish process for the assessment. Subsection N establish lien to be imposed on the property for this assessment. So by any other legal act request. Subject Q establish schedule, actual cost, general cost, date. So step, cost rate, staff. So staff contract, provide us. Subject is actual cost breakdown per hour. Spelled out pretty much. Not exactly clear in our prior or in the international property. Pulled that out. Continue, you'll see the subject 8 board. In A, B, C, and E, we end that established board. We did add subject F, appellate function of board. It outlines notice of appeal process. So established claim needs. I have made an incorrect interpretation of code not fully code adequate established claim. Party would. Section 2 of also parties of the appeal. Section 3 is membership of Board of Appeal. Now, currently, I am the acting secretary. Factor member does do that. Or nominate presiding member. Service. Section 4, appeal, establish scheduled hearing by filing of a notice of appeal. A of that section also discovery or document that would be presented to the board prior to staff party. Section F is powers and duties of the board. Have first subsection 6, B to establish notice of appeal. It could be currently in our present ordinance. Section 7 will be a notice of appeal form. Notice to the appeal process. Section 8 contains contents of the appeal. Basically, it establishes the name and the mailing address of the aggravated party, the details of the grounds of appeal or the claim of appeal. Subsection 9 is the appeal hearing itself. It establishes legal counsel, admissibility of evidence and the procedure for that. And subsection A of that is the appeal hearings needs to be recorded and be copies. They will be part of the record, and that the copies are available to the respondent or to the aggravated party. The Board of Appeals decision, it establishes that the decision of the board shall be in writing, and it also shall be given to all parties no later than 10 days following the hearing. And then subsection 11 is appeal of the final order of the Board of Appeals, and establishes that the board's decision is applicable to the Superior Court for appeal beyond the board. Section 11, amendments and definitions to technical codes. We found that the International Fire Code had its own appeals process and its own violation process, so we actually amended that to incorporate into our Section 7 and Section 8 of our building ordinance. The same thing with the International Plumbing Code. We incorporated the appeals process into Section 8 of our ordinance. And the International Property Maintenance Code, again, referencing back to our building ordinance, Section 7, Section 8, and then also establishing an estimated cost of the removal for abatement. And those are our recommended amendments to the building ordinance. And if you have any questions, feel free to answer them.
Mr. Chairman, I reviewed it, and it seems more than anything else is housekeeping. The changes are very minimal. So with that, I make a motion to approve.
I agree.
I would second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded on item number 3 that we go ahead with it, the revisions that have been made to this. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is item number 4, discussion and possible action regarding amendments to Mojave County Ordinance 2021-03 regarding the size of residential group R5 structures.
Chairman Hamilton, board
Yes, sir.
members. Upon the adoption of the 2018 International Building Codes, we amended part of the building code to establish an additional residential occupancy. Currently, we have an R1, which is a hotel motel. We have an R2, which is congregate living facilities. And R3 would be residential structures. And R4 is, I believe, boarding houses. So we had a gap in there of trying to create a small, not so much a tiny home, but a commercial cabin or something that falls under the building code for commercial. So we established an R5 occupancy, and it basically is a detached commercial cabin or similar structures used as sleeping rooms. Some of the things you'll see in the commercial campgrounds, like the cozy cabins and stuff like that. We actually followed Coconino County's lead on that. They've had quite a few of those up there. We did put in a restriction of 300 square foot maximum of the building and an occupant rate of 6. What we're hearing and what we're seeing in our communities is the structures are typically larger than that. We're getting some of with the lofts and stuff like that of kind of tiny homes, but they're getting put in commercial campgrounds. So basically talking with a lot of the campground owners and even Coconino County, they've upped theirs to 600 square feet in size and an occupant load of 10. So So staff's recommendation would be to increase the size of these structures from 300 to 600 square feet and actually increase the occupant load from 6 to 10. And that's staff's recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, Gilbert, you have in a statement here that they may be considered R3 occupancies. So is that still going to be under R5?
It kind of leads into the next amendment we have under tiny homes. But what happens is by being a commercial cabin, they have to follow the commercial rules. And so in our original amendment, we put in there that they may be constructed under the R3 standards, which is the residential standards. So one thing it did was the state law amended us requiring fire sprinklers in residential structures. So one, it kind of pulls these tiny homes commercially wise away from sprinklers. And then we allowed them to utilize the tiny home ordinance that's in the IRC to allow for lofts and ladders. So it actually has reduction of clearances and allows those lofts and ladders where commercial would not allow that. Okay. So it was kind of a roundabout way, but it fits this type of category for buildings, we believe.
And Mr. Smithy, this makes it easier for people for tiny homes if they decide to do that. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, at least in this case for commercial operations, that they're basically hotel motel rooms, but they're not. They're just a little cabin.
But on residential, they'll still fall under the R3 category.
These commercial structures will follow under the standards of the R3. And again, our next amendment item goes into tiny homes. We can discuss that.
Any further discussion?
I'll done motion to approve per staff recommendation.
It's been moved that staff recommendation to adopt the amendments to the Building Code Ordinance 2021-03 as proposed. Was there a second?
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion. (2021-03) regarding the size of tiny homes.
Chairman Hamilton, board members, when we adopted the 2018 building codes, we adopted the International Residential Code, and there was an appendix in the back, which is Appendix Q, which is for tiny homes. We made some amendments with those in regards to some ceiling height requirements and some clearance requirements, but it is an appendix that allows reductions of clearances and stuff to address smaller housing. What we've seen, or what we're looking at now is a lot of these are having the provisions for lofts and ladders, but we did put a restriction of 400 square feet on these structures in our original ordinance. Again, with the commercial cabins, what we're seeing is an increase of size up to 600 square feet. The average we're finding out is anywhere from 400 to 600 square feet. And just talking with residents, and they've requested an increase. Staff feels that an increase up to 600 square feet would be acceptable. So staff is recommending an increase from 400 to 600 square feet for the tiny home ordinance Appendix Q.
Is there any discussion on this from the board?
I'll move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the amendments to the building ordinance 2021-03 as proposed from 400 square feet to 600 square feet. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Gilbert. Do we have a lot of these subdivisions coming out with the tiny homes in Mojave County?
I've heard rumors of some, but we
Haven't started any.
see any, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 6 is the next meeting tentatively scheduled for 1/16/2024. Happy New Year. Is this work for everybody?
Okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't have any conflicts, Chairman.
I don't have any conflicts.
I'm good as well.
This time the next meeting is set and scheduled for January 16th, 2024. Is there any further discussion from the board?
I'll make the motion to adopt the date of January 16th, 2024 for our next meeting.
I'll second that.
Aye.
Aye.
All those in favor? Our meeting is set for January 16th, 2024.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, your comment about any comments by the commissioners, I just want to comment, the building official and also the building department, they're doing a great job. I mean, this paperwork and everything, just amazing. They're very responsive, and thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, truly, thank you very much.
And with that, I make a motion to adjourn.
I appreciate the expediting of the meeting. Thank you very much. My apologies.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the Mojave County Building Code Advisory Board meeting for October 17th, 2023. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.